Steelers have a massive decision to make going into their Week 15 matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. This game has a lot of key factors and a lot of key players in and out of the lineup that we got to talk about, as GP is questionable going into this game, and Mike Williams has a chance to have some big opportunities. My name is Peyton Kleppe. This is Steelers Digest. If you haven't hit the subscribe button down below already, click it now. Let's get right into the news. We got a lot to talk about going into this Week 15 matchup. Battle of Philadelphia, Battle of PA. What am I saying? Yeah, Battle of PA, Battle of Pennsylvania. And we're going to make sure the Steelers win, bro. We have not won in Philadelphia in, I think, 40 or 50 years. So let's get right into all this news. So first of all, Coach T is talking about expanding Mike Williams' role in the offense. This is going to be a big chance for Mike Williams, as I will talk about later on in the video. GP is dealing with some issues with his hamstring, so the Steelers got to evaluate him and see if he's even going to play against the Eagles and even the Chiefs moving forward. So that's definitely a situation to keep our eyes on. But Mike Williams, he has the chance to have a big game against the Eagles. This guy we traded for a few weeks ago, he's been in and out of the lineup. He really hasn't been involved, but Coach T just tells us to keep on watching. So that's what I intend to do. I got to give a shout out to the receiver group just because of the last game. In the absence of GP, guys like Van Jefferson, Scotty Tuhati, Michael Pruitt, Pat Freiermuth, they had really big games. So I got to give a shout out to the tight ends, the wide receivers who, they picked up some slack in GP's absence, which, before the game, it was a game time decision with GP. And it was very, very rough to hear that he was not going to play. So I got to give a shout out to these guys who really stepped up big. But like I just said, GP going into last game, it was a game time decision before the game. Steelers were evaluating whether or not to play him. He has a hamstring injury. It came out that he has a grade 2 hamstring strain. So he is, at this moment, doubtful to play against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is some really rough news that I did not want to hear today. But, it is what it is. And this guy's got to pick up some slack like they did against the Browns. We got to do it against Philly. We got to win the Battle of PA. But, it's going to hurt not seeing Pickens. But, we won't have to worry about his fines and all his BS on the field. So that's, I guess, one good thing to look at it. So, but yeah, moving forward, guys like Scotty Tuhati, who had a big game against the Browns. He had a few different catches, big catch down the sideline, really redeemed himself from his drop early in the game. But guys like him are really going to have to step up. Our wide receiver room, we don't really have a lot of notable guys on our team. In our wide receiver group, we have GP, obviously. He's our number one player. Calvin Austin at the 2. But he's more of a speed demon. I would say Tavon Austin slot kind of guy. He's not really a number one threat. So, but behind him, it's Mike Williams, who's our probably our third most notable guy. And then behind him, Van Jefferson's he's not been too great this year, other than last game. He's had a lot of issues with dropping the ball. And Scotty Tuhati's been in and out of the practice squad and active roster. So he had a few cool years with TB down in Tampa Bay a few years ago in 2019, 2020. I'll always remember he had that crazy catch right at the end of the half against the Green Bay Packers on Tampa Bay, Scotty Tuhati. So it's cool to see him have a little late career resurgence. Like I said, last game, he had a deep ball down the sideline to pick up a first down, which really helped us. When we signed this guy, I did not expect him to really contribute too much. I didn't even expect him to stay on the active roster. I thought he would just be here for a few weeks, like guys we have in the past, some different running backs, but he's really shown that he can contribute. I'm super excited about this guy. A few years ago in Tampa Bay, he was pretty good with Tom Brady when they won the Super Bowl. He was almost like a little Edelman kind of guy, a lunch pail, Mr. Fundamental kind of guy in the slot, doing the little in and outs, little slants, just making use of the zones, just sitting in those zones, getting those easy catches, easy first downs. So I want to see how Russ can use him moving forward. I'm super excited about this guy too. Mike Williams. Mike Williams is a guy that we traded for a few weeks ago from the Jets. We got him for a steal. I really like him. He is up there in age, but last game against the Browns, he had a really cool one-handed snag along the sidelines, which showed, this guy's he's still got it. He's still got some of that juice left in him. And, he was kind of stuck on a pretty bad franchise in the Jets. They have no culture. They have no head coach. Their quarterback's given up on them. So it's kind of cool to see a guy come to Steelers and have some cool success. And I think moving forward, like Tomlin said, and I mentioned earlier in the video, we just got to keep watching with a guy like Mike Williams. As he gets this offense down and more comfortable with Russ, I really think he can flourish in our offense. I really think those deep balls with him and Pickens are going to be great. I can't wait to see when both him and Pickens are healthy on our offense as we move forward in the season. Because Mike Williams, I guess, he's starting to pick up the offense each game. He's starting to have a better and better game. And, when we get 2 6'4" guys at receiver, I'm going to be very comfortable. The Steelers have not really had that kind of comfortability, I could say, in the past couple years. We've had guys like AB in the past who, they're freak athlete receivers, but they weren't as big. So it'll be really cool once we get Mike Williams and GP healthy and out on the field. We'll have 2 tight ends basically at receivers, 6'4" guys with 4'4", 4'3" speed. It's going to be awesome. And got to give Mike Williams a shout out. And, Freiermuth too. This guy, we paid him in the offseason, and people were kind of questioning whether or not he was still that guy. His rookie year, he had 7 touchdowns with Big Ben. But after that, he kind of cooled off. Last year, he really didn't play much. He was injured most of the year. And, as you guys know, we had KP and Mitch Trubisky at quarterback as well as Mason Rudolph. So it was kind of tough for players to really have a consistent season when you're dealing with JV quarterbacks, I guess you could say. So he's been really stepping up in the past couple weeks. He's sitting in the season with 4 or 5 touchdowns receiving. He's got a little bit over 400 yards receiving. Probably get close to 600-700, I assume, by the end of the season. So it's really exciting to see guys like this who we pay in the offseason really step up and show that they're worth the money. Because Omar Khan, the con artist, really tossed those bills out to Freiermuth without really proving too much. And I really like Muth. I went to the University of Delaware. I saw this dude. Actually, I saw him. It's pretty cool. He dated a girl at my college. So I'm a big Muth fan. But going into this year, he really didn't have a lot proven. So it's cool to see him kind of flourish finally and show that he's a true leader on this team. And, it's really looking like he's forming into a new Heath Miller, franchise tight end for us, which I love to see. I love to see it in those 8s. Those 8s are clean. But moving into forward against the Philadelphia Eagles, I'd say the biggest receiver to look into and the biggest receiver to look at is probably Mike Williams. I expect him to have a big game. I expect him to have close to or over 100 yards receiving with a touchdown to go along with it. 1 or 2, we'll see. I also see guys like Calvin Austin stepping in and really having a big game. But that's really all I got for you guys tonight. Thanks so much. Make sure to tune in Sunday. It's going to be in Philadelphia. Big game for us as we take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Battle of Pennsylvania. Let's do it. Let's win it. On the road to 7, baby. Here we go, Steelers. That's all I got. Thanks so much.